Rolling.
Oh my
love
gosh.
the energy.
Okay, are we good? We're good? We're good?
We're rolling.
Yes.
Black girl lighting.
Yeah.
Huh? You're all good. Malco, are we shiny? Malco
you're
is
good.
our
You're
shine. Am I shiny?
He's our shine expert.
I'm good. He's my shine expert.
good.
He's my shine expert. He's my do I have lipstick on my teeth expert.
Amazing.
And
See?
he's my
You need
when I
that.
get a stain on a shirt,
Uh-huh.
he has his Tide stick ready.
I love that.
I'm well taken care of.
Amazing.
Welcome. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It is like really, I can't believe that in the short time we had, that we could make it work.
Right, and I just so appreciate you for reaching out to me and having me on here. So I think I'm so humbled for this experience.
No,
so
I'm
thank
so
you.
grateful to have you. So for anybody who doesn't know who you are, tell me who you are, what you do.
Okay, so many titles. Okay, so my name is Tabia Charles Collins. I'm a past Olympian, University of Miami Hall of Famer, fashion designer, mentor. I love mentoring children, so I do a lot of speaking engagements and, mentoring for young people in the schools. I'm a mother, a wife, a friend, but more than anything, I'm just a woman who's out here just trying to create something for people, create something for young people especially. Like, I live for young people's growth. And with everything that I do, so whether it's like, going from an athlete to starting my own business, from going back to school to get my master's, I just want to be an example that whatever you want to do in this life, you can do it, and whatever that looks like.
So let's talk about something you said when you said who you are.
Yes.
And it's a recent thing.
Okay, yes.
Miami Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Tell me about the moment you heard that you were a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
At your alma mater.
Yes. You know what? So, to be very honest with you, as the years went by, I graduated in 2006. And so, I did pretty well at the University of Miami. I was NCAA champion. I broke some Canadian records. I did a few things there at the school. And so every year that passed and I didn't get that call, and I would see people, and I was so proud of them, because it's a great accomplishment. And I would always have this feeling like, man, I thought I did something great there. And then my husband and my dad would always say, your time is coming, your time is coming. So, from 2006 to 2018, when I got that call, and just to go back a little bit, I went through a time where after I got injured, right, and so I didn't get my chance to go to the next Olympics. I wanted to go to the next one, really prove myself. I didn't have the opportunity. And so when I got injured, everything happened so quickly, and I acted like, oh, it's okay, on to the next, and I moved on, but not really settling what was making me feel sad, right? And so for the longest time, I wanted nothing to do with athletics, nothing to do with coaching. I didn't even talk about the Olympics unless you asked me. And so I had this unsettling little sadness, right? And so I was getting so emotional when I talk about it. So I, for the longest time, was like, well, I don't care, it doesn't matter. But every year still, when I heard everybody getting they're part of the Hall of Fame, I would feel it. So when I got that call, and there was a message on my phone first, this is University of Miami. And so, that's interesting. And then when I called her back, the lady that called me, and she told me, just tears came to my face, because at that moment, I truly felt, and which is kind of crazy, because not because I got the Hall of Fame title means that I did something great, because I should have known that I did great things even before that title, but getting that call and them choosing me to be part of the Hall of Fame with so many other amazing athletes, it meant so much. And what it did, it reminded me that, Tab, you really made an impact. Whether you believed so or not, whether you felt like you didn't, go as far as you wanted to or accomplish your full potential in track and field, you still made a huge impact. And that for me was so important. And it gave me even an extra bit more confidence, So for a long time, I felt that I fell off and didn't really make such an impact, So when I got the call to be part of the induction, all over again, I felt like something great again. It means that, yeah.
You still, interesting that you say that because you still have a record that's unbroken, right?
Yes. I still have a triple jump record. I have a couple triple jump records, and so yeah, I've.
So where did that come from? Here you are, you hold all these records. You're an Olympian, which I don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
But it's not a high number of people who can say,
for sure,
I qualified and I went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And yet you still didn't feel like you were enough?
You know where it comes from? So not to say like I wasn't enough, I'm so hard on myself. And since I was a kid, I've always wanted to prove that I can do great things. And my parents are very humbled people. So like when we did awesome things, it was like, oh my God, amazing. It was like, good job, and next time will be even better. So you kind of always feel like, okay, that was okay, you'll do better the next time. Instead of really and truly celebrating your wins, and you can still celebrate your wins in quiet. Like I'm not very boastful, but I never really took time to say, hey, you know what, that was great, and now on to the next thing. And that was really great. It was always like, okay, well I've got to do better. And it's always like this obsession of I've got to do better, I've got to do more, I've got to do this. And that's what I'm working on now, actually. Like just like the self-work in me is like, Tabia, like think about what you've done and be thankful and be happy and be, so it's not always about you've achieved something, now on to the next. I should be able to relish in that and to feel good. So it's just something that I need to work on where I can really truly appreciate and be proud of myself. And then on to the next thing, so.
I think that it's something that I was talking about this with our previous guest, that I think it's also as children of immigrants, because I think it's always that you've got to strive for more, strive for more.
100%. Even when we would get A's in class, or I would bring home my test to my dad and I would get 99 out of 100. What happened to the other one? And of course, like they meant well by that, right? Like they had no idea that we would take that into something totally, and so that kind of mentality as a kid, like although it was like funny and it's like, oh my God, like the one, I've taken that into all aspects of my life. And so this is why I have this like a slight obsession with, okay, what's the next thing, Tabia? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And now as I'm getting older and I have a son now, and I'm now learning, okay, take your time and be calm and be happy, because it can be stressful when you're constantly trying to feel like you have to achieve something new, and yeah.
So let's go to the very beginning. How did you end up getting into athletics and that whole world? For sure. So I actually played soccer first. So I was actually a soccer player and I was a dancer. And I danced competitively as a young girl, and I also competed at a pretty high level as a young person for soccer. And I was just really fast. And I remember there was a time where this coach came to my dad and was like, your daughter is so fast. Why don't you put her in track and field? So my father was always putting me in things, whether it was volleyball, whether it was piano. My mother and father just put me in millions of things. And so I tried to try track and field out for fun and was really good at it. So I did soccer and track at the same time. It was a bit difficult, but anyway, I was flourishing in track and field, and then just kept doing soccer and track for a long time. And then there was a time where it got really serious. So we were going to like international meets in the US, and I was doing well there. And then I started doing long and triple jump, and that started to take off for me. And then I'll never forget, in grade 11, I think I had maybe 25 different school scholarships offers, schools that were messaging me and emailing me and calling to come visit. And so that was like such a tough time in my life, because I didn't know how to say no to people. So I asked my dad, like, can you call them back and say, sorry, I don't want to choose that school. And so that was like a big lesson. My dad was like, Tabby, this is a time where you have to learn, you have to be a grown person now, and tell them, that thank you for the offer, but I'm going to move on. So, and I learned a lot during that process. And then I decided to choose University of Miami. Beautiful. It was a beautiful campus, warm weather, great. It was a great academic program as well. And so I decided to go there. And honestly, things just started to take off. And I probably took track and field the most serious when I went to university at that point. I had to train so much harder, 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day, Did you have, so at the point that you went to Miami,
yes,
did you have in your head the vision that, oh, one day I want to, whatever, go to the Olympics?
Yeah.
So it was part of the vision and the dream.
For sure. So like even at a young age, like I would watch Olympics with my family, and I think I told my cousin one time, I want to go to the Olympics one day. You know, like just, you know.
Who was your greatest inspiration or who you looked up to at that time?
Yeah, you know what, to be very honest, I've never really had, what's that word? Like I've never really looked to other people. I've always looked to like my parents. Like they've been really good examples. So like my dad, my mom, and so they were my inspirations to want to do well because they did so much for me. And so I always had this feeling like, you know, not that I owed them, but I want them to see that like all that they did was not in vain. And so for them, that's what inspired me, even up to now, my whole life. So for me, it was, my dad loved track and field so much, oh my gosh. And I just wanted to do my best for him. And yeah, so university was a great time for my career, and that's where I kind of flourished.
So tell me about going to Miami. So I'm going to guess it's probably, like you said, the training took a whole new level. Describe for me what training was like once you got there.
Yeah. So I was used to training 3 times a week, right? Before that, like training 3 times a week. I mean, I didn't always take it so seriously. You know what I mean? I was a young person and still getting into myself and wanted to still enjoy my life. When I went to University of Miami, my first training practice there, I literally thought to myself, oh, I can't do this. Like, this is not for me. And I called home crying, and I was like, the practice was so hard. The training was so hard, you know? But after that day, I was like, I'm not gonna be in the back no more. I'm not gonna show all this weakness. So, and I came out, and of course, like, you know, you have hard days where, you know, where you're in the back a little bit, but my goal was to get out there and to work and to show them what this Canadian girl is made of. And that's what I did. And we would have to train, twice a week, twice a day, sometimes 6 days a week. I would be in the library. So I graduated in 3 years. I graduated a year early. I was taking 18 credits when others were taking 12 and 14. Like I said, another obsession. I want to graduate in 3 years because no one else has done it. And so taking a lot of courses. I'd be in the library sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning trying to reach deadlines and then have training at 5 a.m. So it was hectic. It was super hectic. But that right there taught me so much discipline, taught me that whatever I want to do, I can do it. If I can go out there and do 18 credits while still competing full time, so you're a student and an athlete full time, if I can do that, I can do whatever I truly want to do. And that was the beginning of me really having like true confidence in myself that whatever I want to achieve in this world, I can do it.
What would you say was your greatest accomplishment while you were at Miami?
At Miami. So my greatest accomplishment would be graduating on the honor roll in 3 years, and in that same year becoming the NCAA champion. Yeah, and which is crazy because, you know, you think about these things happen, but you never think it could happen to you. And so I'll never forget when I did that last jump, and I realized I was in, you know, first. That for me was just, wow, Tab, like you really did it. You really did it. They didn't think I was going to graduate, because who does that? Who graduates in 3 years when you're on a 4 to 5 year scholarship and you're competing and training full time? And so I wanted to show that I could do it. Yeah.
So tell me about the journey to the Olympics. How did that happen?
Oh my gosh, the journey to the Olympics. When I think about the Olympics, that's one time I wish I could go back to, because it was such an amazing time in my life. Journey to the Olympics, that was a tough year because, you know, my coach was ill. He had to go back to Russia. I was training with a new club. I got injured that year. So January of that year, 2008, I had a knee scope. So I had like a minor knee surgery. And so I was thinking to myself, this is the year of all years, 2008, that I would love to go to the Olympics. Like, I'm having this knee surgery, so I couldn't really train like I wanted to, you know? Doing a lot of rehab, trying to get healthy. The season starting soon, outdoor in April. But I won't forget, it was in April that I went to Greece, and I was like, man, I'm not ready. Like, I'm not ready to compete and to perform. You know, I don't know if I feel strong enough. So went to Greece, to the island of Crete. It was an island off of Greece, to compete. And I'll never forget, it was just perfect weather. The wind wasn't too strong. It was just like a perfect day for something good. I felt fast, the track was fast. And when I jumped that 6 meters 82, oh my God. Oh, so sorry.
Don't worry, Why?
Because like, when you talk about it, like I never get emotional before. So now it's like, you kind of, I feel so good about it, but I hate when I do this. When I jumped at 6 meters 82, and then, I called my coach, messaged my coach, and he was like, that's a Canadian record.
Had you ever, so in all your training and you're getting ready, had that been a goal that I'd love to break the record, and this is where you're aware, this is the record, and this is what I need to do to break the record?
But to be very honest, my event is triple jump. Mm-hmm. So triple jump and long jump I do, but triple jump is my main event. Mm-hmm. And so to be honest, I never thought of breaking the long jump record, because that's like my secondary event. And I never actually I thought I would be going to Olympics for triple jump, which I still should have, but they chose one event for me, which is fine. And so it wasn't even in my mind that was going to happen for me for long jump, because triple jump, like I said, is my main event. So when I jumped the 6 meters 82, I had to like go back to the official and say, what was that number again? And just the excitement. But I didn't scream and jump. I walked back to my bag. I messaged my coach right away, told him what my jump was, and he said, what was that jump? I said 6 meters 82, and he's like, that's the A standard, and it's a Canadian record. And it was such a good feeling. So it was like, and then at that point, it's like, oh man, like I have been working hard.
So you literally like, jump 682. Yeah. It's a Canadian record. Okay, let me just pack up my bag and
So it was like, just a great day. And so any type of anxiety that I had before that, it was, I felt calm. And it was like, I'm truly going to the Olympics. And it's funny because I called my dad, and I didn't really even tell my friends right away, because sometimes I always feel like I never want to feel like I'm like boasting, or you know what I mean? So I never always share like my achievements. But my best friend was like, I told her maybe a few weeks later, and she was like, you're just now telling me?
Yeah. Weeks later?
Yeah. And she was like, Tabby, what's this huge news? And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And so, yeah, like I said, I just like to stay humble about certain things, and, you never know what people are going through. So when you're sharing news, sometimes you don't know what state somebody's in, and that's why I kind of keep things just a little quiet, sometimes, yeah.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to just tell you off for a second. And I appreciate what you're saying, that, you don't, and also I think it is our upbringing as immigrants. Like, don't share your business, don't show off, all of those things that you get told as a child of immigrants. But on the flip side of that is maybe when you tell me your news that I just jumped 682, it's the inspiration for you to be like, wow, she could do, maybe I can go do 100%. Something amazing in my life, right?
100%. And that's why, like, as I got a bit older, right? So with my, and it's still, sometimes I still, my friend would be like, why did you not tell me you're in this magazine? I was like, I know, I was meaning to tell you, I was going to wait till I saw you. But you're right, because that's like me. I know when my friend of mine bought her house and she told me, and I was like, oh my God, amazing. Tell me how you did it. And it inspired me. And I'm learning that too. Sometimes when you share your news with people, now that kind of puts them in gear, man, if she could do that, then I can do what I want to achieve. So you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So you jumped 682.
Yes, jumped
Canadian record.
Yes.
So now you're going to the Olympics. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Beijing Olympics, and as you know, that was probably one of the best. They just went all out. They have the money to do that. They went all out for the Olympics. And when I think about just seeing people who I watched for years on the Olympics, getting to see the dream team and meeting Kobe Bryant and meeting all these amazing athletes, most importantly, walking into the bird's nest and people cheering you on and clapping is a feeling like...
I literally getting goosebumps and I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it was a feeling like no other. And although like I hoped for that day, it was still something that, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen for you, right? So it was like, I'm really, truly here. I said I wanted to be here one day and I'm here. And I didn't compete at my best, which I should have.
Why do you say you should have?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the nerves. I don't know if I wasn't ready. I know when I went in, I was a bit injured. I had some issues with my ankles and my knees. So, there's a few things that threw me off, but I didn't get to, one of my jumps that I did was an amazing jump, and I was behind the board. And that could have just meant the difference of everything, And so that's like one regret I have. And it's such as life, right? You go somewhere, you're either on your A game or you're not. And I just wish I had an opportunity to really go and show them who I was that day, but I didn't, right? But however, the experience I appreciate. What I took from that, walking the Great Wall of China, signing autographs, people asked me to hold their babies, to take pictures. It was just such an amazing point in my life. And so although it's like, man, I didn't do what I wanted to do, I didn't jump my best there, I take so much more from that has helped me, in my life and growth as a person. So, yeah.
What was that like after? So you do your jump, you're behind the board, you're like, gosh, but those are millimeters that would have made the difference. That could have made a huge difference. Do you go, afterwards, do you go through the jump again and you're...
100%. Yeah. Even up till now, it's how many years later, and I still think, man, if I just move my mark up a little bit, and so that's what I always think about. If there's one thing I wish I could go back and redo, it's the Olympics. It's going there and maybe doing a few more extra practice jumps in the beginning. There's, you go over that in your mind, in your head. And you're right, it kind of, even after that, for the day after, you're kind of a little bit down because it's like, that was your opportunity to really on a world stage, prove who you are, do your best, and I wasn't able to. And so, but I've learned that I can't harbor that burden for so long. That's life, an experience that happens and you move on. And so now it's like I'm creating other experiences that I'm going to do my best and I may have a chance to prove myself. So,
So you finished 2008.
Yeah.
And then the vision was that you would go to London, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In 2012.
Right. So 2008 was a really good year for me. 2009, a bit rocky. It was okay year. 2010 went to the Commonwealth Games. I got 2 bronze medals. So that was a really good year. So was training, feeling stronger, feeling better. My coach came back from Russia. So it was like, oh my gosh, everything is coming together. Everything was just so great. My training regimen, I was, like I said, faster, stronger. Everything was coming together really, really well. I was losing weight, getting trimmer. And at practice, we had a really good practice. I was finishing off my practice doing some drills and doing some technical work. And basically I had to just run down the runway, jump off of a board, and we're working on technique. But what happened was somebody was at the side of the pit. They were gonna go across, but it kind of threw me off a bit. This threw me off of my focus. So I went to go jump off the board. However, I didn't plant on the board. I planted off the side like this. So tore all the ligaments from my ankle completely from the bone and fractured my ankle.
Ow.
Yeah.
Did you know in the moment how bad the injury was?
You know what? I heard a pop, and someone else said that they heard a pop as well in the track center. And I would just know I was in so much pain. I thought I blacked out. So I was in so much pain, went to get up, and I couldn't put any pressure on it. So at that point, I'm like, something is wrong. My coach is like, no, I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure you just sprained it a little bit. You're fine. And then, I had to even call my dad. So we live in Pickering, and York University is that's in the West End. Had to come pick me up because I couldn't drive. I couldn't put any pressure on it. Went to go do an MRI the next day. 2 days I had an MRI, and when they did the MRI, all my major ligaments were torn completely. So at that point, it was like, geez, okay, well, maybe we can come back from this, right? Do your rehab. My coach was convinced.
So this was it. What year was this?
This was 2011. Yes.
Okay, so this is the year
before London, yes. Mm-hmm. So my coach was convinced that, this is fine. You can get this better. So what we did was we trained other parts of the body. I still did weights. I still worked on my left leg, all those other things. But deep inside of me, I didn't feel like I could come back. Or if I did come back, it was going to take years. It's going to take some time. It's a major injury. So I went to go see my doctor, one of the best doctors in the world. He's a sports doctor. And so I said, Dr. Gallia, what do you think? What do you think we can do? What's your advice? And he said, Tab, to be honest with you, I don't know if you're going to come back how you were before. And so and this is like after months and months of doing therapy and, you know, doing all these other things that, you know, we exhausted all possible options. And although my coach was still in denial, but then there came a time when I said, you know what?
What did that make you feel? So in that moment?
In that moment.
When the doctor says to you, I don't know.
You know what? It was because I kind of felt it as well. So it wasn't like a major shock, but it was, oh my God, like how do I tell my family? What do I do next? You know, London Olympics is next year. And so all these things were going through my mind, and I cried. You know, I cried to him, and he was like, Tabby, you know, you're smart. You can do other things you're going to do, and you're bright. You know, what's your plan B? And I always had a plan B and a plan C. And so I sat on it for a while. I spoke with my coach, and he was really upset. Like, no, you can do this, and you know, I get it. You know, like he believed in me so much, but I just felt it. Maybe this is just end of the journey, and it's time to move on and do something else. And as hard as that was, but as I told you, everything happened so quick. Yeah. I was, okay, I gotta go on to the next. Like, what's next for me? Let me go get my master's, and I just rushed everything so quickly, you know? Didn't give my time a chance, like really mourn and be okay with what's happening and move on. I just decided, okay, I gotta go online, you know, like let me look into HR and let me apply to U of T to get my master's. Like everything's happened so quickly. And really and truly, like I chose something that I really didn't want to do, just to.
This had been your life.
I know, exactly.
Your life,
yeah, for
all
sure.
Of these years.
And all I thought was just that. Okay, well, I gotta find
something.
Can you imagine? Yeah, like I did, like, and that's the one thing. Like that's why now I learn you gotta take your time. Like take your time to heal a little bit. Take your time to make decisions, make better choices, instead of rushing into what you think you have to do. And that's what I regret as well about that whole situation. It's like not just sitting back and be like, I was okay to be sad. But I acted like to people, oh no, it's okay. You know what? Plan B. I'm great in academics. I can do other things, and I just held this burden on my shoulder for so long, just like the sadness, and so, yeah.
Do you feel like now you've had a chance to deal with the sadness and let it go?
Yeah, I think I'm getting there. Like I'm getting there. You know, like I said, it's probably up to, so now that I have like my own athletic program, I should have done this a long time ago. But as I said, I wanted nothing to do with like athletics and track and field and any of that stuff, you know? And so I'm getting there. Like I'm getting to a point now where I can watch track and field on TV. And I don't feel sad, but I don't feel like disappointed in myself. So, yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah.
And so, tell me about 2012 doesn't happen for you.
Yes.
You're not there. What then happened? So you went to university, and what did you study?
Went to university. I studied human resources and industrial relations at U of T. Mm-hmm. So got my master's. But then I got an amazing job with like Coca-Cola doing marketing, and then from there I went to Monster Energy and was like their first Black customer marketing manager there. And then after that, I went into project management with an innovations firm, specifically in the pharmaceutical department. But the thing is, to be 100% honest with you, like corporate is just not you feel like you have to get into this corporate world, get a salary, but it just isn't me. And you do what you have to do in life, but my goal is to do what I do, like do what I love, influence people, make money doing what I love to do. Creating a program, creating a business that I can survive and flourish off, that doesn't feel like work. And that is what I'm in the midst of doing right now.
So what does that look like?
Yes. So I started my own clothing line and online.
Hang on a second. I hope this is on camera. Yeah. Like literally, your whole energy shifted.
Yeah.
Like literally, your face just lit up once you started talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just lighten you up.
Oh my gosh. So I started my clothing line while on mat leave. And of course, like it's small and it's in the making, but I love it. And every time an order comes through, it just makes me so happy.
How did you, so why clothing?
Yeah.
Had you always been interested in fashion and design?
Yes. Yeah. So even as an athlete, I used to compete in fishnet stockings. So I was always so dramatic and wanted to be in style and be different. So fashion has always been something that I had a passion for since I was young. And I would make my own clothes here and there, and people would say, hey, like, where can I get that from? I'm like, I just made it for myself. And so for the longest time, I'm like, I can do this thing. I think I can do it. Even if it's on a small scale, I can do it. And while on mat leave, I thought to myself, man, like, I just need to figure something out where I don't have to go to work for the rest of my life, and seeing my son there and thinking to myself, I want to achieve things that I love. So then he can see me doing things that I love and living my best life and, creating. And so that for me was like, I'm going to start this. So I started doing skirts with a friend of mine. We were doing skirts and they sold out. And so at that point, I'm like, oh, I can really do this. And then started to create. I found a manufacturer, I found a pattern maker, and then just started to create my line. And so right now, like, my biggest thing is jackets and blazers and skirts.
They're spectacular.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it just makes me so happy. And so that's one part of it. My husband and I also, we do a little bit of investment, so buying properties, renting them out. So that's another thing that's, has longevity. And my goal is to, like, in 10, 15 years, be able to, relax and not have to work so hard and, live off a residual income. So that's what we're working on as well. And we just recently started it's a youth development program, athletic program. And we train elite athletes, whether it's basketball, soccer, track and field, all sorts of athletes. And we just started that in September, and it's going amazing. I'm actually shocked how many athletes we have and how people are supporting, our movement.
Why are you shocked?
That's I know.
You're a record holder.
No, for sure, yeah.
An Olympian.
Yeah.
Why are you shocked?
That's such a good question. I don't know why I downplay myself like that sometimes. It's shocking because it's just in its infancy stage, and just the love. One thing that I've learned along my journey is that I have so much amazing support. Like, you'll never ever hear me complain about nobody supports, and I have such a great community of people around me that support, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And sometimes, like, all the crazy things that you hear in this world that's going on, and people don't get support here, and it just feels so good. And you're right, and it shouldn't be shocking, right?
But is your husband from an athletic background?
Oh yes, he does track and he did track and field as well, and he's an amazing coach. He actually this past season coached an OFSA champion, a junior champion. So he is amazing. He is great at what he does. So we paired up together. This is one of our businesses together, and it's just awesome. It's so awesome.
What's your vision for this business?
Yes.
For the training, for the coaching and training? What do you want?
What do I want?
The big dream?
Yes, for sure. I want to be able to partner with, like, the city, the school board, different organizations, and show them that our program, how awesome it can be. We want to develop athletes and help them reach their full potential, but also have a mentoring and influential part to the program. So I'm also in the process of becoming a life coach, and I would love to be able to pair my coaching with, my life coaching skills and help young people not just achieve goals in athletics, because that's just one part of it, but building confident young people, increasing their self-esteem, showing them that aside from athletics, there's so many amazing things that you can do with your life. Athletics is just basically a facilitator of that. Yeah.
So when you look back at where you came from and all the things that happened to you as an Olympian,
yes,
what advice would you give to the young people that you're training who are aspiring to be Olympians as well?
100%. So one of my greatest messages to people is, it is great to aspire to be an Olympian, a superstar athlete, be on the circuit. But it's also important to know that if you don't achieve those things, other amazing things will come from athletics. You have no idea. Athletics builds character, discipline, hard work. There's so many things confidence. And sometimes we set this one goal of, I have to be an Olympian. And if it doesn't happen, you're devastated. But from athletics, I have made amazing connections. I have started different businesses. And for me, that's even greater than just saying I'm an Olympian, right? I am able to talk about my challenges with people and how I've overcome those. And I use that in regular life. I go through a lot of challenges, but being able to overcome injuries, being a full-time athlete and full-time student. And so now when I'm balancing 3 to 4 businesses and a family and a young child, I use all those skills to help me in my everyday life. And so I just want to teach young people that, great, have those goals, have those dreams, but also have other goals and dreams as well. And that for me is a huge part.
What's Tab's biggest goal and dream right now?
Yeah, my goal and biggest dream is to have an impact and to influence people. I truly want people, not to say like I'm far from perfect, but to truly have young people say, if she can do that, I can do that. I want to inspire people, and even women my age or older, that you can still be a mom, and you can still be a businesswoman, you can still be an amazing career woman, whatever it is that you choose, you can do it all. And so we always feel like there's this either or complex where, okay, if I want to be a great mom, I can't do this. If I want to have an amazing business, I can't do that. But I want to be an example that you can do whichever one you want to do, and you can do them all together. And so that for me is just to inspire, to influence, you know what I mean? That for me, it would be huge, yeah.
What would you say, so I know you had the disappointment with 2012, but what would you say of your athletic career was your most proud moment?
My most proud moment of my athletic career. There's a few. I'm gonna give myself there's a few. My most proud moment was becoming an NCAA champion. A proud moment was getting a scholarship that my parents didn't have to pay for my school.
Always good.
Breaking Canadian records. You know, sometimes I mean, you're right. I don't talk about those things, but they are dear to my heart. You know, like when people call me, Tabby, I just saw your name at York University on the board. You still have the record. I'm like, oh, really? That's really cool, right?
It's like when you walked in the room today, and my previous guest was like, oh my gosh, it's Tab. Like,
and that was so beautiful, right? Like that made my day. You know, making the Olympic team was a very proud moment, and the University of Miami Hall of Fame. That feels really good to me. Yeah, that's a moment for me that I appreciate it so much. And who I got inducted with, like the amazing Vince Wilford, an amazing NFL player, like all these amazing people, to be amongst them, that felt great. That a group of people on a committee thought that I deserved to be in there, and so that feels really good. And now. Of course, I'm not competing, but being able to have a group of athletes that are inspired by it. Today, a mother today sent me some photos of her daughter's room. And in her daughter's room, she has like a poster with like her top athletes who inspire her. And 2 of my pictures were on there. And so, that truly made my day. So just basically, my athletic accomplishments, the Olympics, the Hall of Fame, my records, and then now becoming a coach. Yeah, they're my biggest athletic accomplishments. Yeah.
That's athletic.
Yes.
Personally, what would you say have been your biggest accomplishments?
Yes. I would say my personal accomplishments, starting my businesses, like being able to go out there and do it. Having the guts to go out there and go back to school to get my master's. One of my accomplishments, I feel like, so for me, of course, when I was younger, I've made some crazy choices, either high school or boyfriend choices. I must say that my family, like my husband, my son, those are choices that I made, right? To choose my husband to be part of my life. That for me is an accomplishment. Not to be married, but the fact that I've chosen someone who's so great and who adds to my life for me, and who helps me accomplish my goals, and who believes in me. For me, that choice, I feel accomplished about choosing such a great person. Yeah. My family, my parents, I mean, I know that I didn't choose them, but when I think about my mom and dad, big accomplishment. And so yeah, just whatever I've achieved, and it's just going out there and trying my best, building something and creating my business, for me, like, I feel great about that. I feel really good about that. Yeah.
I am so grateful to have met you. I'm so grateful that it worked out for us to have this conversation today. actually, I do have one more question.
Of course.
So this platform is called Ndini.
Yes.
It's a word which in my mother tongue, I'm from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
I speak Shona, means I am. And I believe in the power of I am and what you say and the power of those two words and what you say after.
Yes.
So finish that sentence for me. I am.
I am. So like one adjective, like one.
No, but
okay.
You can write War and Peace if you want.
I am going to achieve everything that I want out of this life. I am going to help my family achieve all of their greatest goals. I am strength. I am going to win in this life. I am going to continue to work hard so that my children can see that I can live my best life and that they can do it too. Yeah.
It has truly been my honor to spend time with you.
My gosh, I feel the same way. And thank you so much for having me. So much. You have no idea how much I appreciate this. Yes, thank you.
It's so beautiful.
It's an amazing experience.
It's so beautiful to meet you.